Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the final episode for the declutter of this year. I did only 4 videos for my makeup declutter, and the reason is there's a lot of small things that I find not interesting to see, and I just didn't want to make a video that nobody was interested in seeing. So I just divided it in the bigger categories that are base products and brows and eyeliners, for example. I did in one I did cheek products, one I did lip products, and today we are looking at my eyeshadow palettes. Now, I am very honest in saying that this is not going to be a big declutter, and the reason for it is that I already decluttered during the year the palettes that I didn't like, and it is more of a collection video. Let's put it that way. I'm gonna turn you around, look at the palettes from a different angle because that's the way I like to see them instead of pulling them all up one at a time. And we're gonna talk about the palettes that are in my collection. There may be one that goes, but I've still not decided, so I'm gonna have to talk myself in or out of it when we get to her. What I am gonna mention is the palettes that I did declutter during this year already, and those are the Natasha the Nona Mini Retro. This actually went to a friend of mine, and it's just because the colors were not for me. I was hoping for a peach and green, and it was more of a peach and grayish. It doesn't look good on me, and yeah, I decided to sell it because I had used it literally 2 or 3 times. The 2 special shades that were in there were really pretty, and I had dupes for them already in my collection, so I decided to get rid of that one, and that was the most recent one actually that left my collection. Another one was the Natasha the Nona Cranberry Palette, and that is also a 5-pan, but not from the mini version, like a full size. And those were just not colors that I was using, not particularly interested in the formula either, and I sold that at some point earlier in the year. So that one went, and the Nabla Berry palette, that one also didn't really stay in my collection, and the reason is it's one of the cutie palettes in the small packaging like this. They came out with 3 new ones this year, and I bought all 3, but the berry one was just not, again, my colors, and not particularly interesting, not something I reach for, and I decided to sell it as well. I used it a few times, tested it. I did the video on the whole collection, and I honestly thought I was gonna use it more. Like, I wasn't in between buying only 2 or 3 of them when I did make the Nabla order, and I decided to go for all 3 because I thought there would be more special shades or that I would use them more, and in the end that was not the case. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's cut my losses. It's pointless to have this in my collection for a longer time, trying to use it, trying to love it, and then not loving it. So those are the 3 palettes that left my collection this year. I think at least that's all. Yeah, I don't think I can remember anything else that I let go. This year a lot of new palettes came into my collection, and we're going to do a ranking of my 2020 palettes in the next few videos. This will be a collaboration with my friend Mariam, so you can look forward to that. But for now, I am going to turn you around, and we're going to go through all the palettes that I have and see if there is anything that will go or stay. I don't think so, but we'll see. Here we go. This is the mess, or I mean, my palettes all in one place. Let's start with this one right here, which is new from my Black Friday haul. This is a palette from Glam shop. This is a Polish brand, and it contains a beautiful green color story. I just purchased this. I have barely gotten to test. I did 1 look with this, so I am definitely keeping it. It's beautiful. It has their turbo shades here that are this incredible, like, yeah, special shimmery, glittery texture. Loving it so far, but it's new, so this is definitely gonna stay. Then we have Sultry here, and I have been reaching for this more in the this now in the holiday season, because you can get very, very elegant, simple looks that look very nice. And I'm gonna keep this because it's a good fail-safe neutral palette. And even though I spoke a little bit about this before, that these shimmers are not as textured and beautiful as others that I have, they're still very wearable. I still hate this coral right there, but it's a great palette, and I'm gonna keep it for sure. Soft Glam, its companion, but then the warmer version of it. I am a bit on the fence with this, but for now I think I'm gonna keep it because I still like the color story. I still like Mulberry a lot, for example, and I don't use it a lot, but when I want a neutral look, I know that I can count on this palette. So until I find a different neutral eyeshadow palette that I like better, I'm gonna keep this one. It's very versatile, and yeah, it's easy to use, and I'm gonna keep it. I should also stop saying if I'm keeping it or not, because we know I'm gonna keep all of them. This is the Frontcasion Palette by Dose of Colors in collaboration with Desi and Katie. I'm sorry if I'm blinding you. This was one of the first ones with topper shades, and you can see how much I used this champagne topper. It's just so glittery. It looks wet on the eye. It's beautiful. It's one of the first palettes that I had with these special shades, and this is great for travel. It's really a capsule palette for me. It has the green. I could have done without these two blues because I don't wear blue a lot, but like this is a perfect color story. Give me one more gold maybe, and it would have been perfect for me. I really like this palette still. The Nabla Dreamy 2. I did not want to buy this palette. I received it as a gift, and I thought I wasn't gonna like it. I thought it was pointless to have it in my collection, and then I started using it. And as I always say, remove the purples. I don't like those in the color story. These two shades with Amarcord, Lucid Dream, and Libertine are amazing. They're really, really good. I use this for Christmas actually. Libertine is almost like a pressed glitter. It's super interesting as a texture. Lucid Dream is a beautiful topper. Amarcord is like the most gorgeous rose gold, and these two are in their latex matte formula, which is similar to the Natasha the Nona cream to powder. So I just really, really like the shades in here. It might be one of those palettes that I would like to depot, but I won't because the packaging is also beautiful. But I have been finding myself using it more and more. Except for like these two, I either never use or I only swatched or use once. I don't like the purples in Nabla's palettes, and it's the reason why I never want to buy them. But I've been loving this palette lately. It's really, really good for the holiday season. It has all the textures, it has all the sparkles, and these two mattes make it for me. So definitely a good one. Definitely keeping it. And I really did change my mind on it. More Nabla. I have my Cuties here. The Cutie Platinum was a surprise, but definitely my favorite of the ones that I have. It is a beautiful, cool to neutral toned eyeshadow palette. Very simple. I really like Gem System because it's a what is it called, like it's like a topper shade. Is one of their Celestials. This pure silver I used for Christmas, one of the Christmas looks that I did, and I wore it at my work Christmas party. It's so reflective and beautiful. I like this palette a lot. It's similar, if not a companion, to Sultry for me because it's cool toned, but I like this palette a lot. The Metropolitan Palette is one of those that actually fell short for me because I cannot make a full look with this. This coral bothers me infinitely. Again, another coral that shouldn't have been there. I like the shade Dissolution is another beautiful topper. Anomalia is a beautiful gold. It's quite like dupeable, but this is one of those palettes that might not make it through next year's declutter, but we'll still make it through this year's declutter. Overall, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not a complete palette that I will reach to do one look with, because I don't have a transition shade and the only matte is this really dark brown. I don't know. It has some nice palettes, it has some nice shimmers, and yeah, it will survive another year. Not my favorite of the palettes that I bought this year though. But I shouldn't be talking about this stuff, right? Because we're having a ranking video coming soon, so I shouldn't be doing this. Next up is the Cutie Coral, and this was a release from 2019, I believe, but I only bought it at the beginning of 2020. And the reason I wanted it was this shade Mandarin, the shade Red Shape. It's a beautiful, beautiful palette. For spring and summer, it's very fun, and yeah, these textures are just... I mean, this was the dupe of the palette of the Natasha the Nona one I have passed along, and it's beautiful. Definitely keeping that one. I want to give it more use. These are not palettes that I use a lot, except for the platinum I really reach for, but these two I don't reach for. So I don't know if it would make more sense for me to depot them and put them in, either even repress them and put them in singles that I can reach for more often, or just remember to reach more often for them, I guess. Another mini palette that has been really, really forgotten for me is the Kali from Mulak Cosmetics. This one here I bought quite a while ago, probably last year I think, maybe with Black Friday last year in 2019. And this one right here has two pressed glitters that are stunning, and a teal matte, burnt orange, like a warm brown matte, this pink shimmer which is useless to me, and this beautiful gold. It's just a very weird color story, and I still like it. I think I've used it maybe once this year, but I am having in mind to do a project for my palettes to make sure that I use them all. So yeah, I hope I can get more use out of these, because I don't know, I still love these and its quality is still good. A new palette in my collection is the Huda Beauty Nude Medium. This is a gift from my friend Mandy. She wasn't using it, so she sent it over to me. I am still testing it, so I'll reserve my judgment. It's still new to me, and I've had my eye on it for quite a while since it launched. I didn't want to buy it because I duped it. I have a video duping the vibes of all three of these palettes, but now that I have it, I want to use it a little bit more. I think it's actually quite a nice, warm, wintry palette. What really surprised me is these shimmers are really, really punchy, but actually quite similar on the eyes. I don't know. More orange than I expected, if you can see them there. So every time I wear them, I'm like, oh, this is actually quite orange. But yeah, I'm gonna reserve my judgment. I'm gonna keep it and use it more to make sure that I wanted to have it in my collection. Then I have my Melt Cosmetics palettes. These are not going anywhere. Of course, I have Radioactive. This is not a palette that I use regularly, but this is a palette that I want to have for the neons, when I want to wear neons. So instead of having singles with all of the neon colors, I decided to buy this palette, and it has all of my neon colors. Every time I see indies coming out with neons, I need to remind myself, Alice, you already have your Radioactive palette. So this is saying, it's more of a, like, when I want neons, I have neons palette. The Smoke Sessions, still love it, still will stay, of course, and again, I'll repeat every time. I switched these two shades out from Gemini and put them in here, so this is not how it normally looks. But again, should use it more. And here is the Gemini with the other two shades, and I kind of find it much more cohesive of a green-brown color story. I added here this gold and this other green to make it a more complete color story to me, because now at least I have three shimmers, and I like it better. Should use it more again. I just, yeah. And the last member of the Melt family that I got this year is Rust. And this is beautiful, a very nice neutral palette. Maybe I should actually try this one versus Soft Glam, and you remember to use this one. I want neutral shades, neutral eye looks, and yeah, it's a very interesting brown palette, I find. I love the yellow in here is what always attracts me the most. So these are definitely staying, as are my Natasha the Nona palettes. Metropolis, here she is, beautiful, made it to my 2020 favorites. I have to say I pulled it out yesterday or the day before, and I was like, oh, I'm a bit intimidated. And the fact that I was actually looking for a deep red matte, a bit like the one that I'm wearing today, and I don't have it here. So I was like, oh, I wish we'd have less golds and a red matte in here. And I think if she comes with more midis like this one, which is the bronze, I could put something like Magma in Metropolis and it would really make a difference. But I'm very hesitant to mix up my palettes because also the order of them, because for example in Metropolis I saw a lot of people reordering them in a better, more, I don't know, rationalized color story, but I still have the names because I want to know which shades I'm using. Also when I take these shades with me in custom palettes, for example, or duping the vibe palettes, I want to know what shades I have, so I'm very hesitant to switch things around. It comes from the fact that I have a YouTube channel, so this might change in the future, but I'm not gonna get rid of this one. Bronze is newer to my collection. I just got it now in September. Not gonna get rid of this one either. It's still surprising me. Every time I reach for it, it surprises me with how beautiful the looks I can get with it. So still happy with it. Natasha the Nona Gold palette. Not gonna get rid of this one simply because it cost me a kidney, almost. No, I think I got it with 25% off, but still like 3/4 of a kidney. And I reach for these golds quite a bit. They're beautiful, and I took with me the neutrals on holidays also in July when I went. It's a beautiful palette. It's a very beautiful palette. And I just need to reach for it more, remember to use it more. I always kind of end up doing like the greens because it's what I like. I love teal eyeshadow, but yeah, beautiful palette. Could use for more love, but we're gonna work on it this year, you guys. I need to finalize my ideas, but we're gonna work on using the palettes more. Natasha the Nona minis. As I said, I already got rid of the mini retro, and these are the 3 minis that I have left. I have mini gold. I used it yesterday, and you will have seen it in my low buy video, for example, and my project pan finale. This is beautiful. I can do such a beautiful, simple, yet elegant and impactful look in the tones of greens that I love. I like it. I saw recently my friend Mariam not liking it, and I'm like, but why? I understand that, I mean, the big gold has a similar shade to this special shade in the middle, but the whole vibe and tones of of the palettes, are quite different. So I don't see the repetition, and maybe it's me, but I don't see the repetition. Then I have mini Glam, which is enough of a mini Glam for me. And I don't need the actual Glam palette from Natasha the Nona, because this one is one of those looks that if I had to go to a conference or like a 2-day work event, I would take just this one with me. I know that I'm gonna be made up well. I know that it's gonna be elegant. I know that it's a beautiful neutral story. The shadows perform very well. So it's kind of a safe palette. I could have probably lived without it, but yeah, I like it. And the final is the mini star, which I really love the drama in it, let's say. Of course, this duochrome here could have been more impactful, because I think the formula of this is a more satiny instead than one of these chunky metallics that she has. I wish she would have done it in a different formula. but it's easy to use. It makes for a really nice neutral eye, and quite impactful if you want to smoke it out and make like a nighttime or New Year's Eve look. Very simple to use, and I love the format of these. I wish they were interchangeable, that's the only thing. These are glued in, not magnetic, but they're all really good palettes, so these are staying as well. I am losing light here. It's the middle of the day, but it's winter, so it is. New to the family is the Nabla Ruby Lights Glitter Palette. Keeping this one, of course. I've been using it this holiday season quite a bit, and yeah, I like it. It makes your looks very special, but you need to be wanting to use glitter. I find myself liking my Glam shop shadows or Cliona Cosmetics shadows more. So although I don't regret buying it, I could have saved, or like yeah, you can save the money and get better shades that are not plastic glitter and that are easier to use. These are still glitters, and what I've seen is that they crease quite a bit on me. My whole look will crease if I have these on top of it, and I don't know why. I haven't had this long enough to find out, but yeah, it's a good accent palette. I'm not regretting buying it, but if I had to, yeah, get money back from anything, it would be this one. Huda Beauty Neon. Haven't used this in forever, but this is one of these very seasonal palettes for me. This is a summer palette, and I love this green shadow right here for a pop of color in the inner corner. These two are beautiful toppers. Again, they're just glittery with a sheer base, and the mattes are actually quite nice. I love this yellow as well all over the lid as a only shade, pretty much, with a little bit of this as a pop on the inner corner. Beautiful, still love it, even though I use it maybe 2 times a year. Colourpop palette, I have 2 historical ones that are gonna also stay for historical reasons. One is Dream Street. I've maybe used this once this year, but not even. Like I could let go of this easily. Maybe I should. This shade, I don't want to give it away because this shade is my mom's favorite eyeshadow, so when I go there and I do her makeup, I always put this on her lid. She also discovered Natasha the Nona minis, so yeah, she probably isn't into Colourpop that much nowadays, but I love this palette and I can't get rid of it for, yeah, emotional reasons. I don't know why. I barely use it. It's color wise and shimmer wise, it's past its prime, but I don't know, I still really like the color story in here. Next up is the Good Sport palette, which can have a similar, yeah, I don't know, discussion as the previous one. Here I love a few of the shades, like a lot. This EBB shade, which is a beautiful, quite unique green in my collection. The deep burgundy called Reckless. I don't care for this one, this one, this one, and this one. They could all go. They're not interesting shades for me. So maybe it's interesting if I did a mashup between these 2 palettes and see like a Franken palette, then maybe I would use more. Maybe I'll experiment with that this year, but I can't get rid of it. It's a good quality, beautiful color story, quite challenging color story, I find, and yeah, I can't get rid of it. I still love it very much, and it was limited edition, so I'm gonna keep this one. Then a new addition to my collection is the Star Wars The Child palette, a collaboration with The Mandalorian. I did a whole video with the review and the dupes for this. It's a nice palette, it's easy to use, it makes green and neutral looks. Happy to have it. And I can't resist the packaging, I mean. And the final Colourpop shadows that I have is At Forest Sight palette, the collaboration with Raw Beauty Christie. I also did a video on this recently before the first restock. And yeah, it's a very nice palette. I love how deep the mattes are, and the color story is so Alice, I just can't. Probably the only thing I would change is this glittery matte here, which has some copper glitter in there. pointless, and I would unpop the evergreen here. The formula of this one is a bit lackluster, but overall it's a great palette, beautiful packaging, great collaboration. Not gonna get rid of this one. Sigma Corde Rosa is a gift from my friend Mandy as well, and I have to say I was quite impressed with the quality, especially of these two shades, which is called Belle of the Ball. It looks like liquid, I don't know, on your eyes, and the gold is also like, they're just really, really good quality, these shimmers. And it's not my color story, I have to say. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a go for a little bit longer before I make a decision on it, but the color story isn't my favorite. So I will see if I wanna keep it, but for now it's new, so I want to play with it a little bit more before I make a decision. And yeah. So this one is that one. And then we have the potential declutter of this whole video, which is the Jaclyn Hill palette. I have the original one, the one without shade names that came, I got the cardboard later in the mail that I stuck on here. And I haven't used this in a year at least or more. It was a beautiful palette at the time. I think I still love a lot of the colors that are in here, but I never reach for it. So I'm gonna think about what I wanna do, if I wanna keep it. I know that you cannot get this anymore in this formulation. Jen Loves Reviews did a whole expose, let's say, on the fact that Morphe changed the formula without letting anybody know. And I don't know what to do with this palette. I could easily narrow it down to a smaller selection of shades, and anything that has dupes in my collection, just declutter and keep only the shadows, like depot them and keep only the shadows that are special. Like I am now full of glitter, but this guy right here is a beautiful green. This dark green, I remember, worked really well. There's this brown right here, which is a bit of a, like, looks creamy and wet, thanks to the formula. There are some really good shades in here. The blue and purple, I remember, weren't great, and some of the browns I wouldn't reach for now. So maybe this is the time to let this go. I feel bad because it's a really nice palette and someone could get nice use out of it, but I don't. So, okay, we are deciding right now that I'm either depotting it or decluttering it whole. Let me know in the comments. It's gonna go, but you will determine its fate. Let me know in the comments what you'd like me to do. I might poll the Instagrams as well with it, but yeah, I think it's time. It survived so many declutters with me saying, oh, it's just for sentimental reasons, I'm gonna keep it. This time it's time for it to go. I can clean it for a change, but yeah. This was the last palette that I have in my collection. As I said, not a declutter video, more of a collection video. I hope you enjoyed. And as you've seen, we missed completely all of my single eyeshadows from here. And there is a specific reason, and that's because they're infinite. We would have been here all day, every day. And I've done recently, I did a declutter of my singles last year. And I did a single eyeshadow tag midway through the year where we discussed all of my favorites. We discussed my number, and I'm gonna discuss my inventory numbers with you soon in the new year. So there's no singles in this video. I hope you don't mind. If you want me to go through my whole single eyeshadow collection, we can also do that. But I'll only do it if you're interested, because last year I did all of my like reorganizing and decluttering of them. So I feel like there's not a lot of new things going on there. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I hope you enjoyed seeing my eyeshadow palettes. And yeah, I hope you will subscribe to be together for the new year. And I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.